so far is because, first and foremost, reading scores are so low. We're spending a ton of money on education, and I think the money's not being spent where it needs to be spent, and that's at the states. And that's why the president and I are certainly on a path and a mission to return education to the states.
Education Secretary Linda McMahon reacting to students' alarming decline in science, math, and reading scores. As we learned in the new national report card, let's bring in PragerU Kids Outreach Director Jill Simonian and Moms for Liberty Bergen County Chair Alexandra Bauer. Both great to see you as well. Alex, to you first. You heard Linda McMahon there. I think she's right. I mean, I don't know how you expect kids to learn anything else if you basically cannot read to begin with.
Well, the report card was absolutely shocking. I mean, only a third of 12th graders are prepared for college. 22% of 12th graders are proficient in math. 35% in English. This is extremely shocking. And they had actually very high, rates for college kids, signing up for college last year. So they're literally going to college completely unprepared. They're not going to be able to get a job. They're going to be in debt. They're not going to succeed in college. And, this is all because they're spending more time on radical ideology instead of good education for our children.
Yeah, I want to put the numbers back up on the screen because they really are so dramatic and drastically bad. You see there, this is proficiency, right? 8th grade science, 31%, 12th grade math, 22%, 12th grade reading, 35%. Wall Street Journal writes the following: one problem is the lowering of academic standards for students. An emphasis on equity has led some school districts to adopt no grading and no homework policies in lower grades. Schools have reduced graduation requirements and inflated grades across the board. The result, high school graduation rates increased by some 14 percentage points from 91 to 2023, even as students are less prepared for college. It's an assembly line, Jill. That's all they're doing. They're putting these kids on an assembly line like, off you go to college. No, forget, we don't care what you learn.
Yeah, and listen, Trace, putting those numbers on the screen right now, I actually found myself getting unexpectedly very emotional because it is very sad. I'm angry, but I'm also very devastated and sad because it is a national security issue, and we cannot put students out into the world if they do not know how to think critically, if they do not know how to read, if they do not know how to do math. I wish I could say that I'm surprised by these numbers, but this has been decades long in the making, and unfortunately, until our education leaders start to understand that the system is failing and not working, we have to change this.
Yeah. And maybe, Alex Bauer, is because of silly things that we keep doing like this in the schools. The NewJersey.com headline reads, can schools keep gender transition secret from parents? New Jersey case could decide the answer. Goes on to say, the father claims the school began referring to his daughter by a male name and pronouns without notifying him or seeking his consent. The father, who has placed his daughter under professional care for depression, anxiety, and gender confusion, says the school's actions undermine that treatment and violated his constitutional rights as a parent. He sued, but the court said, well, your daughter no longer wants to go by male pronouns, so I guess the case is over. But this is the kind of thing that is driving these grades to go down.
Exactly. Well, unfortunately, we do have policy 5756 in New Jersey. It is not a law. I know a lot of schools like to say that it is. It is not. A lot of schools have gotten rid of it. Unfortunately, that parent actually didn't even find out that his daughter was going by a male pronoun. He heard it from a friend. He had absolutely no idea what was going on. And this is what they're focusing on. They're so focusing on affirming mental illness over the education of children. This is exactly what happens. But this young lady homeschools now, and she no longer wants to go by male pronouns.
Yeah, amazing. Meantime, DHS trying to set the record straight. Put this on the screen. DHS sets the record straight. ICE does not raid schools, Jill Simonian. ICE not conducting enforcement operations at or raiding schools. ICE is not going to schools to make arrests of children. We hear this all the time. I heard it from my wife a couple of days ago about schools in Los Angeles. It's not happening. I said it's not happening, and there's no evidence that it is, but you keep ginning it up.
Well, because people